Civilized Society.
Welcome to Nietzsche Roulette, everybody's favorite podcast series on Nietzsche, because it's actually interesting and it's actually educational and it's actually entertaining. Do you know how hard it is to do that with Nietzsche while actually knowing what you're talking about? But we do it. We do it. So let us begin. Let us show the viewers and listeners what Nietzsche is up to. Translate it for the modern day.
Human Anti-Human is the text we're going to use. There are 638 passages, so I use a random number generator to generate a number between 1 and 638. And today I have generated the number 125. We don't know ahead of time what we're reading, what we're doing. That is the fun. Here we go.
Sure.
Fuck this word. Religiosity. Irreligiosity of Artists. Homer is so much at home among his gods, and as a poet takes such pleasure in them, that he at any rate must have been profoundly unreligious. With that with which popular belief presented him, a paltry, crude, and part horrible superstition, he trafficked as freely as a sculptor with his clay. That is to say, with the same ease and impartiality as that possessed by Aeschylus and Aristophanes, and which in more recent times distinguishes the great artists of the Renaissance, as it does Shakespeare and Goethe.
Goethe. I like that word.
Yeah.
What's up with that? All right. What's up with that? Listen, I heard about artists and gods, okay? And to me, what I interpreted was that artists find God in their work, that actually they create this realm within their art, and that is where their gods are. This is why they're irreligious.
Did you need me to read that again slower for you?
Sure, I guess. If you're going to say it like that, you must need to.
No, I mean, so I think he was saying that you can only take pleasure in the mythology and stories of the gods if you don't entirely believe in them, and that you can only create art that uses them as a reference point if you're not entirely committed to the popular belief of your gods. This is a really complicated one because it doesn't have much to do with the world we live in today in a lot of ways, because I don't think anyone really...
No, but it has to do with art, which we have art today. And it's interesting because art, is largely secular, I guess. Well, let's not. I mean, less of it for sure. I think, and it's interesting because you could make an argument, well, secularism has increased. The quality of art seems to have gone down. And this argument has been made in regards to architecture too, that I think the argument is essentially that because we no longer build with the idea that we're building to honor some higher thing, we've lost a lot of that like beauty and inspiration that you see in older works that were made in a time when religion and the idea of a higher being was the common belief.
But hold on, because he's saying something different here, which is that all these older Homer, the Greek playwrights, which he references in Shakespeare, Goethe, he was saying that it was their actual...
First off, that it was from religion.
Yeah, not even exactly distance, but that they took the popular conception of their gods at the time and didn't take that particularly seriously. And so we're able to play with that and use those things to create great artistic works. Whereas I don't think, which in a way I think he would say is someone of like maybe a profound faith, but that is also very wedded to the doctrines of a particular faith, maybe couldn't do. Maybe they could accomplish something else artistically, but it wouldn't be exactly what he's saying these people are. And actually, I tend to think that they probably wouldn't do anything as great as these people, even though I'm trying to think of some exceptions of like extremely
Like religious artists.
all the hardcore religious people I can think of that have done good art also were like kind of maybe not exactly like William Blake comes to mind. He was a super religious, spiritual person, but I don't know that he would have, if the church at the time would have adopted all of his beliefs and been like, yeah, you're totally within the rational realms of what we believe.
Yeah, but I don't think that necessarily has to be the qualification for saying that the artist is devout to the beliefs or like dedicated to practicing them as the doctrine
Right, but
lays out.
this is the part of the passage where it says he was profoundly unreligious with that which popular belief presented him. That's the kind of key point to this that I'm getting at, is that which popular belief presented him, a paltry, crude, in part horrible superstition. So he's saying that the popular belief at any given time in religion of the gods or religious matters is, in his words, paltry, crude, and in part horrible superstition. And but it's that stuff that is the kind of fodder for fodder, is that the right word? The fuel for give me fuel, give me fodder, give me that which I desire. I think was a Metallica song, by the way. That's what lets them create their art. And again, I'm saying I can't think of any like I can't think of any religious figure
I mean, I'm
that is
sure
an
there
artist
is,
that is super. Well, why can't we think about it easily then?
because
if-
they're
if
from like
it's
a
so
weird
obvious?
era.
I know weird eras.
That's
though.
true. Who makes the stained glass and the cathedrals and all of that? The sculptures of Jesucristo. Those are pretty religious. So
Yeah, but I'm not sure that any of the artists of the Renaissance, which he just references here, were particularly. Well, I don't know. This exceeds, in a rare instance, this exceeds my exceptional knowledge. I mean, I could go through it and think about it, I guess, one by one, but I
Well,
don't
let's
know
not
like
be
what
witness
exactly
to that.
Raphael thought about the Catholic Church. So
I think that this speaks to the fact that artists have to be somewhat detached and removed from the everyday culture, because this idea of
you misinterpret it. You keep misinterpreting it. He's saying that it's you're wrong.
You're wrong.
The everyday culture is the paltry,
That's what I'm
superstitious
saying.
bullshit.
So
part.
the artist
But
is detached from that. That's what I just said.
No, he's not detached from it. He's sculpting. He's using it like clay to create a sculpture.
No, he's
of the
using the
Übermensch.
deeper religious themes, not the paltry
That's not what he
everyday
says.
superstition.
No, that's
Read
not
it
what he's saying.
again.
He's saying that
Read it
is the
again.
part. He's saying that because, in a sense, that the popular conception of the gods at any given time is paltry, crude, and based on popular superstitions, that makes it easier for the artist to take those themes and manipulate them how they want to create great art. I think that what he's saying is if you actually had to deal with maybe something more serious at any given time, in any particular religion, it would actually kind of potentially, let's say at least limit, if not kill art.
Read it again.
Homer is so much at home among his gods, and as a poet takes such pleasure in them, that he at any rate must have been profoundly unreligious, with that with which popular belief presented him, a paltry, crude, in part horrible superstition. He trafficked as freely as a sculptor with his clay, that is to say, with the same ease and impartiality as that possessed by Aeschylus and Aristophanes, and which in more recent times distinguishes the great artists of the Renaissance, as it does Shakespeare and Goethe.
He trafficked. He says that he trafficked with these things. Yeah, I don't know. I don't feel.
He trucked with them.
Yeah.
He was trucking with ideas.
He was trucking with superstition and paltry things. I don't quite know. I mean, can you make good art and be godless?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would think so. But anyway, I'm not really sure, again, and this will be a short episode. Who is a could you name a few just for me, like artists of our time?
Like
Like
a
that are
particular
current?
medium?
Um, you said something about like at the beginning of this of like serious artists and all that kind
There's
of
a
stuff.
really
I'm just
cool
trying to,
artist
struggling.
called Dennis Forkas, I think. He's like an Eastern
Never heard of him.
European artist, and he paints all these really cool images of that look like demonology. That's it's a very good visual artist. Um, there are others, but I don't really keep up to speed with a lot of visual art today because so much of it is an embarrassment. You have to go looking outside the realm of popular art and what is in the galleries.
No, I understand. I agree with you. I don't know either. Now, what about writers?
Contemporary writers.
Yeah.
Oh, I know there's. This is also really bad to ask me because I can never remember anything when I'm asked. Because look, we know that there's
No, but
great contemporary filmmakers, right? Like there's actually pretty good contemporary filmmakers, and there is good contemporary music. It's just not, mainstream or whatever.
But that's all
Contemporary
even
writers.
pop culture. I mean, that's why I'm trying to get into some of these older kind of artistic forms like painting or
Yeah.
writing novels or whatever. Maybe some of these forms are just simply outdated, but it's funny to me that we can't
I know, easily name.
name anyone. And I don't
You
think
know
most
what's really
people
funny,
can.
actually? I asked someone the other day, I asked them what they're like, if they have any visual artists they like, and they couldn't name. And they're like interested in art, like, in the arts. And we both kind of sat there like, yeah, actually, we can't think of any.
I mean, you probably said Justin A.W. Blair, most likely.
Well,
And
of course.
everyone can see
Yeah, I
his
showed them, and
visual
immediately
artist.
they were like, oh my God, she does witchcraft or something. They rebuked me.
We have a problem that we can't name any artists.
Yeah, I know. I've got to try to keep up more with visual art, but I find it so uninspiring. You know what? There's a good artist, and this is sad that I don't know his name because he's not well known. He's a friend he's my friend's friend, and his art is actually really great, but he's apparently like a madman and a disaster, so he'll never succeed because he'll probably die before he succeeds. But his art is actually pretty interesting. I would name him if I could remember it. Well, I can put his info in the info box here so that people can check it out because that would be nice for him.
The info box. We've really lost steam, so I'm going to go smoke a cigarette and think about art.
Well, whoa.
You listen, I'll tell you what, you know what?
You gotta end on a high note. You gotta make a giant proclamation like I always do. I can't make all the giant proclamations. You could, make some of them sometimes.
There is a certain artist who understands the beauty and necessity of brevity. And there are some who do not. And so I'm simply saying, okay, I mean, what do you want to make a grandiose statement about this?
Well, is art dead?
I don't know. I think it's not a popular, it's always for an elite group of people. I mean, it wasn't like all the peasants in Rome were like filing into the Sistine Chapel to check out Michelangelo's sculptures or whatever the fuck, right? It's never been the case. So we're just peasants. We don't know. There's like rich people who live in Manhattan who are like, Jimmy Joe is doing this extraordinarily visual art thing. It's probably fucking sucks, but still, they know the names, right?
Yeah.
Because it's always been now. But then the other thing you can say is, Aerosmith. That's really good art because I like their songs. That's dumb because it's just popular. It's pop music, pop art. It's fine. I'm not against it. I actually hate Aerosmith, but that was a bad example. But you know what I'm saying? Pick whatever it is.
I can name a bunch of
name some band
artists
I don't know
that are actually like I can name artists, but they're not artists that I like. That's the thing.
But you can name 1,000 bands and like 1,000.
Yeah, I can name more bands than visual artists for sure.
Right. But that's
well, look, because when I go to the goddamn galleries in LA, it's an assault on my aesthetic sensibilities. Okay, they have these things that are just. I remember one time I went to this gallery and it was something so atrocious. It was just it shouldn't be allowed, actually. Like maybe a little censorship is in order after all. These things, it was just like, I'm queer. Here's a picture of me being queer, looking queer. The whole thing, it was just pictures and then kind of like weird, uncomfortable, like I'm like queer scenes, whatever the fuck that is. I don't know. I blocked it out of my memory. I just remembered not liking it. And there's other things that I've blocked out of my memory that I do not like. I mean, it's funny because I actually worked in a gallery and I worked with so many different artists and not a lot inspired me. And I can remember their names, but I won't name them on the podcast.
There's no reason to.
Well, I'm saying that I don't want to actually like shout out and be like, oh, they were good or whatever. Cause like, I don't actually, there were probably some that I'm just forgetting though. But again, you know, that forgettable. The thing is, I also travel, so I don't collect art. So maybe if I collected art, like if I had a space to collect art, I would care more. You know, that's the thing. It's like you say, if you're doing that, if you're collecting art and doing that kind of shit, then you're probably more paying attention to that. I can collect music because I don't have to have a place to put it in, and you know, it doesn't have to be physical. So I can keep up with music. I can keep up with movies. With visual art, it feels weird to keep up with because what do I do? Like, do I collect it on Pinterest or something like, and then just go look at it sometimes? It's not the same. Like, it really is. You go to a gallery, you look at it, and that's that. You have to see it in person, or you find it online. You're like, I like it, and I buy it, and then it'll stay in your mind. But if you just look at it and you're like, I like that, and then that's it, you're not going to remember it. So I think visual art suffers from like the way that the world works now. Like it's really easy to get with music and movies, but not with visual art. You know what I mean?
No, you're wrong about that, actually. I mean, you're right, but you're wrong. It's actually the proliferation of too many images that basically discounts all images. It's like, oh, I'm going to go get in a car and go to a museum to look at pictures. Well, I'm assaulted by pictures constantly. You know, so why would I want to do that anyway? I'm constantly assaulted by visual imagery. The reality is
that that's a folly.
Also, obviously,
it's a folly because
is it? It is. Was that experience where you went and saw basically like gay dudes sucking each other off in black and white pictures, and that being called art? That was
that was offensive.
Is that something I should be really motivated to go do?
That's the laws. What? That's the problem. Is that these galleries now, this is what they've got to do because they're like, we're an ally. So whatever garbage you give us, if you're from the right identity, we'll put it on the wall. But
right,
if you
so
do go to
that's completely
silence. If you go to the galleries and you look at the older works, right? Like the Monets and the Basquiat and whatever. Motherwell is a good artist I like also. These artists, then you stand in front of it and you're like, yes, of course it's so different to stand in front of the work because you're already going to give it more attention because you drove there to look at it. And it's bigger and it's physically in front of you. It's different. I could look at the same painting on my computer and it's not the same because there's this impetus to move on the computer constantly. So you'll just never give anything you're looking at on a screen the same attention you do when you're in a physical space for it. You know, like looking at a piece of art in a gallery, listening to music in a concert even. All of these things, they're places where you go with the intention of giving dedicated attention to the thing.
I'm with it. I've been to the Salvador Dali Museum. I enjoy it. It is a different experience.
Yeah.
I'm all for it.
It really is.
I'm not going to go pay money to go look at like empty cans on a floor and be like, this is the Fourth Industrial Revolution or like.
No, that's a prank
whatever.
That they play on you. It's a postmodern prank. You're the butt of the joke.
To bring it back, it's because is it because they're godless heathens? Because they don't even have the ability to play with the imagery of the gods or the concepts of the gods because it doesn't exist for them, right? Well, so it's everything is completely, not everything, a lot of, you know what? I'm not gonna make grandiose proclamations about this. I do know a little bit about what kind of is going on in the art world because I occasionally attempt to put my art in like to put it out there to magazines and that kind of stuff. And I mean, there's a whole lot of things that make that a hopeless endeavor.
It's a joke.
Partially because, well, I'm not going to complain about it. I'm going to let it go.
I will. It's because the emperor has no clothes and they don't want to fucking admit it, first of all. No one wants to be the one to say that the amputee, black, trans, two-spirit immigrant who shat in a box and put it in the gallery is actually a bad artist. No one wants to fucking say that. Everybody wants to pretend that it's brilliant because the identity is right. The art world has lost it. Okay, I saw something the other day. Oh God, if I could remember it. I blocked it out of my mind immediately because I need to try to maintain my sanity. But oh man, I forgot what it was. I keep up with some of the art magazines like Art Freeze and Art whatever the fuck. And every now and then I'll see what they're, pretending is real. And it is just it's not good. Don't let these people run anything except a gallery. They should not be doing anything that matters. They should be working with the shit in the box and the cans and whatever. Because if you give them...
Well, that, to be fair, it takes care of itself. Because that is... I mean, gallery administrators aren't exactly the sharpest tacks in the fucking tack box. So it's fine.
Yeah.
To some degree, you know what? To some degree, this is why I'm at peace with everything. Water seeks its own level. Let's just put it that way. And it just works out. So
that's so ominous. So you could end the podcast like that, with a parable. Or a whatever that is. A parable?
I don't even know if it's accurate.
I don't know what it even fucking means, but it sounds wise.
That things settle to where they're meant to be. So in other words, the people that are running the modern art galleries that are like, hey, check out this. It's whatever it is. Like, shit in a box. Like you get what you pay for. You get the intellectual, you get what you're going to get.
You get what you deserve.
Everything, you get what you deserve is what it essentially comes down to.
If you go to the gallery
that's what you get.
And you pay to see shit in a box, then you get shit in a box. Listen, you think I'm joking about shit in a box. I'm actually
not. You buy
not.
shit in a box. Some people buy shit in a box. It's even better. There's, there is a theory that basically all modern art is basically just a way to money launder.
Yeah.
So
when it's the Jeff Koons and the Damien Hirsts of the world that they're selling like mass-produced art, yeah, it's a fucking scam. So enjoy, whatever. I ain't mad at it. I want to get in on the fucking scam. I want to sell some plastic mass-produced balloon animals for $1 billion. I can't be mad at that.
I don't.
Oh, well, get out of the way, buddy, because I will. I will take my chance.
No,
I just
man,
won't
you know what you'll
have
end up
the initiative
doing?
to do it.
So many of these people end up just like committing suicide by doing drugs and jumping off.
Yeah, but that's because they were on Epstein Island and they're about to get found out. And then you think they just killed themselves, but actually they were about to get found out. So they were like, you know what? I'll just end it here. I had a good run.
Right, but I mean, well,
Jeff Koons is. We're not making allegations against Jeff Koons. He's just my least favorite artist in the world because he does not deserve the title of artist. But
Jeff Koons was on Epstein Island. Everyone knows this.
Look, he looks like he would be. He's maybe nice. I don't know. Jeff Koons, tell me how to make $1 billion selling plastic fake things. Like,
go to Epstein Island and make some contacts. That's how you do it, right?
That's true.
I really don't know. I mean, it is interesting. Like, how is this? I feel like this is like talking about the mafia, though.
Yeah.
I don't feel like you should talk about Jeff Koons' finances.
No, yeah. I mean, I've already burned any chance that I would ever... Like, if I ever try to submit art or writing to any of these kind of publications or galleries, I actually want to do it as a social experiment to see, like... I kind of want to see what happens. Because if they looked me up, they'd be like... I could come in with the right identities, right? I can be like, I'm a disabled, depressed, anxious, non-binary, first generation Latinx. And I can throw woman also. That one's so boring. I forgot about it. I could throw in a bunch of these. But then if they actually looked me up, they'd be like, oh, this is an undercover sting. She's going to come in here and find out that we're selling $35 tickets to show people shit in a box. They'll know. They're going to know. Why do you look mischievous?
Because out of just random, I just wanted to look up Jeff Koons
I'm so
Epstein
glad you
Island
did.
just to see.
No.
Um,
He's got enough money. But I think he's gay.
I don't-
But they can bring little boys to the Epstein Island. Who knows?
I don't know if I'm ready in real time to deal with this conspiracy theory, so I'm just gonna let this go.
Jeff Koons
The
decorated.
painting. Okay, so there was a
Epstein
painting. Remember, there was this painting of Bill Clinton in a
Island.
dress
Yes, that's right.
at Epstein Island. The artist says she had no idea Epstein owned it. But this is what came up when I put in Jeff Koons Epstein Island. So, after graduating, Ryan Clyde worked as a studio assistant for Jeff Koons. Hold on a second.
We're uncovering.
We're doing real-time
Yeah.
conspiracy theory shit. Hold on a second.
This is good.
Wait.
It's what he deserves for making those balloon
Okay,
animals.
so all I have to say is this, and then I'm going to go smoke a cigarette. Apparently, and this is just very fast reading, so this very well may be misinformation. It's funny to me because I just said that as a random joke. Apparently, the woman who did that painting of Bill Clinton in a dress, okay, she did a bunch of like satirical political paintings of political figures, I guess, being in weird situations. Not weird, totally stunning and brave. Sorry. She was an assistant to Jeff Koons, which I think he has a bunch of minions, right? That just pump out his.
This is what I'm telling you. These are
mass-produced,
the
totally
artists. Like they're the ones.
Well, I
that
think
make
she
it.
was. So I think that she was apparently, according to this article, and this isn't like
So funny.
AlexJones.biz. This is artnet.com.
This is InfoWars.
Right. I don't know what. I don't even know what to say anymore. She was an assistant that worked in Jeff Koons' refinery of art or whatever.
That's so
And then
funny.
she's like, I don't know how this guy got how Epstein owned this painting, which totally may be true. I don't know.
Well,
Let's leave it there. Anyway, Nietzsche Roulette. Just gonna back away from this. Go ahead and.
from gods in art to godlessness and art in the least godless, the most godless places. Fucked it up. We should have just left it with your water is wet parable and move on.
So, like and subscribe. Buy my art. I don't actually have a way to sell it, so whatever.
Oh, for Christ's
Never
sake.
mind.
I mean,
I'll figure it out some
people
point.
should buy your art because you're probably also going to like kill yourself in 10 years or something. I hope you don't.
Oh, thanks.
I hope you don't.
Appreciate
I've
it.
told you not to. But your trajectory.
I don't think you actually ever have told me not to kill myself in 10 years. But I'll just say
Do I have to say it? Like, can't you just, it's implied. But, if don't sell some art first, is what I'm trying to say. I'm trying to sell your art. That's how you do it. You imply a little bit of instability, so people are like, oh, the art will go up. So buy it now. Now is the time. And now
I agree with that part of it.
now is always the time to like, subscribe, follow, and whatever else you'd like to do, because anarchy on Peasant Radio and Nietzsche Roulette.